Okay, moving right along from John Cage's first period of composition, I'd like to get into arguably his most famous era of him, his compositional technique, and this is the one of chance music. Now, what chance music is essentially, a lot of people would call it experimental music, okay? So what goes on is that you can do many different things with chance music. Essentially what this was about in John Cage's life is this is where he had a, you know, like he was very profoundly influenced by Eastern Eastern influences, okay? In particular, he very much studied the I Ching. He was into Zen Buddhism and a lot of Eastern influences, dare I say it. For this end, my piccolo toms over on the left, I've detuned them somewhat. You've probably already noticed it a little bit, but if I play them, you notice that they're down a lot from how I've tuned them in the past. What I'm trying to do here is emulate the sound of Eastern scales, Eastern, how can I say, Eastern influence. It's a bit pentatonic-like. But there's a certain kind of innate dissonance to it which gives it that edge, which reminds me a little bit of Indonesian gamelan, which, you know, is also something that is of an influence as well. So. And there you have something like that. So that's something that is also something that Cage really got into. Now, when we talk about chance music, okay, what can start to happen is that you can do a couple of different things. For this I've got, does anyone remember the game Boggle? Okay, this is from the game Boggle. I don't know how many of you know about this, but it's like a little word game. They have word dice in them. You shake it up, and then you've got to spend a little bit of time trying to come up with the words, you know, that kind of thing. But what I've done is I've changed the word dice for normal dice, and what I do with my students quite a bit is actually do this, shake the dice up, and I've got 4 rows of 4. You need 16 dice that you can buy from any $2 shop. Now this is actually quite straightforward. I mean, Amores in the first segment was actually quite, you know, quite different, you know, sort of thing. It's certainly not this. Anyway, what I'm going to do, I mean, the numbers here for the dice are 1 to 6, and essentially I'm just going to make it a reading study. It's something as simple as that, you see. Now, the numbers are 3, 1, 2, 1, 6, 5, 1, 1, 5, 6, 2, 4, 4, 2, 5, 6. And for those who know my books, I've used this for reading exercises and improvisatory exercises for many years now. So here we go. See, so that's something a lot more straightforward than what I was playing previously. But you see, it's just chance. You just roll the dice and away you go. Now, that's something that you can do with that. Another thing that you can do with this as well, I might just take the edge off the snare drum for this and just like that, is just treat them all evenly, okay? So what happens is that, you know, you just have 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 1, you know, and so on. So you play them like quavers. Great for your independence and coordination between your hands. So once again, the numbers are 3, 1, 2, 1, 6, 5, 1, 1, 5, 6, 2, 4, and 4, 2, 5, 6. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 1, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do you see? Now what I did was I kept the bass drum going. How about if I just do 4 on the floor bass drum and hi-hat on 2 and 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do you see how that works? So it's a bit of a headspace thing, you see. So what I've done is my first crack at doing this was essentially take the numbers and treat them what the numbers are within a beat. So if it's a 3, it's a triplet within a beat. If it's 6, it's sextuplets. If it's 5, it's quintuplets, and so on it goes, like that. What I did then was treat everything as even quavers, so it'd be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, but it certainly wasn't that. It was 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do you see how that works? So it's a bit of a sort of thing. For my next number, for my next trick, what I'm doing now is I'm going to take a set of cards, okay? Just a deck of cards. I have a book out about this called A Game of Cards. I've done this on the show before. And what I'm doing is with this. Now, the reason I'm doing this tonight, if you've missed out on the first little segment of the show, this show is all about the very famous and influential composer John Cage. I'm up to his second main period of work. This really came about in the early 1950s. As I said, just to recap the show a little bit, John Cage had 3 main, segments of composition, if you will. He had his work from about the mid-1930s to around about 1950. Very percussive. The most famous innovation, I suppose, during that period was what we call the prepared piano, where you put nuts and bolts in the piano strings, etc. What happened then in 1951, 1952 is that because of his profound influence from Eastern culture, and he started to study different things, not just music, but also just the way of life, the more mystical aspects, I suppose, as well, and all that sort of thing. What he started to bring into his music was chants. Now, this is why I'm shuffling a deck of cards on a drum show, because what I'm going to do now, I just looked, I better shuffle them a little bit more. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to play a piece of music based on whatever I deal myself on each tom-tom. So, this is what goes on. I've got the 2 of clubs. On this drum I have the 10 of clubs. On this drum I have the 8 of spades. That I have the ace of diamonds and the 7 of clubs down below, and why not I put one down here which is the 7 of diamonds as well. Now what can happen is that if I sit down and just start playing through this, if I just start with a single stroke roll, I can have 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now if I'm going to start playing this, I could do it in a fairly random approach. I could go tens, eights, I was a 9. 1 is easy. Gina Lola Brigida, 7s. Sorry, I threw myself then. I'm actually playing more like 15 because I'm playing 2 Gina Lola Brigidas, 1 to finish. So Gina Lola Brigida, Gina Lola Brigida, Gina Lola Brigida. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You see, so 1, 2. Oh! See? Now what I'm doing is I'm mucking through it, but you know, what I'm trying to do is come up with different ideas from pure chance, and this is a profound influence of John Cage. Now the more that you do it, so on, and go through it, the more ideas you can come up with. You can think of these numbers as varying time signatures. You can think of, like I was just doing then, how many notes am I going to play on each drum? And so on it goes. Now, this has got a lot to do with how can I put it? John Cage didn't exactly like the concept of improvisation, it was said, okay. But yet in his third period, he started to incorporate it into his pieces. And essentially what you can start to do is, within the parameters, you improvise within it, so to speak. And this is the ideas of John Cage. So I hope you're getting something out of this particular episode. It's a little bit out there. I make no apologies for that. It is the music it is. Now when we talk about things like chance music and the influence of John Cage with things like this, one only needs to look at the smart technology that's out now, like the typical smartphone, like an iPhone or something like that. You have ambient music generators. One of the famous ones is Bloom, which was developed by Brian Eno, very famous producer, and you know, Roxy Music and U2 and many other things as well. And his collaborator is Peter Chilvers. And this application provides ambient music just by the touch of a button. You can, you know, you do different things, and all, you know, lots of different aspects of music come from that. Where did that come from? Well, one could say chance music, which John Cage developed. So there's something that you would have in your hot little hand right now for about $3. Download the app or whatever it is that you want to do. Press a few buttons, and next thing you know, you're generating music by chance. Thank you, John Cage. Back after the break.